to you by...
It has been said that there are many pathways into hell, and that most are paved with good intentions. I would argue that at least a few are tarred by the hands of those with ill intent in mind from the very start. Hello friends, and welcome back to ETF. Immaculate, released in 2024, is a horror film directed by Michael Mohan, and starring the lovely Sydney Sweeney as Cecilia, a devout nun who joins a secluded convent in Italy. Upon her arrival, she experiences unsettling events, including an inexplicable pregnancy, leading to a narrative that intertwines religious themes with psychological horror. This one has garnered mixed reviews from critics. Tim Roby of The Telegraph awarded it 3 out of 5 stars, noting that while the film takes time to build momentum, it ultimately delivers on its premise. Manola Dargis of The New York Times designated it as a critic's pick, praising Sweeney's performance and the film's ability to provoke discussion. Conversely, some critics were less than favorable. Raphael Matamayer of IndieWire described the film as god-awful, criticizing its execution. Similarly, Time magazine referred to it as bad gall blasphemy of the highest order, suggesting that its provocative elements may overshadow its artistic merits. In today's climate, I'm not really surprised at this mixed reception. The film delves into themes of bodily autonomy and religious control, drawing comparisons to the nunsploitation subgenre of the 70s, primarily in European horror cinema. Critics have noted its authentic and thematic influences from directors like Dario Argento and Roman Polanski. Additionally, Immaculate has been compared to The First Omen, which also came out in 2024, with a very similar premise, both exploring symptomatic control over women's bodies. This parallel has been highlighted in discussions about the resurgence of horror narratives focusing on forced or supernatural pregnancies. Our protagonist's entrance into the convent feels like we are witnessing her be introduced into a prison, reminiscent to me of the sequences when Andy Dufresne is walked into Shawshank. The exterior walls fill the frame, not allowing us to see a world beyond them as the car pulls through the gates. The film becomes a chilling exploration of the intersection between faith, repression, and the sinister undercurrents that often linger between the guise of piety. The film masterfully weaves a tale of terror that uses religious iconography and doctrine as both its setting and its antagonist. Every frame of Immaculate is imbued with an atmosphere of dread, created to unearth the nightmarish horrors hiding within the sanctity of religious devotion. The story unfolds within the confines of an isolated convent, an environment steeped in religious symbolism. On the surface, this cloistered world is a bastion of purity and devotion, but the film's cinematography betrays its true nature. Dimly lit corridors, looming statues of saints, and oppressive stone walls serve as a visual metaphor for the spiritual and psychological imprisonment of its inhabitants. The convent's isolation from the outside world creates a closed ecosystem where unchecked power and dogma thrive. The use of space magnifies the suffocating grip of institutional religion, turning the convent into a labyrinthian trap of both body and soul. At the heart of this film is the protagonist, Sister Cecilia, whose arrival at the convent sets the stage for the unraveling of its dark secrets. Cecilia's journey is emblematic of the duality of faith. It can be a source of solace and redemption, but also a tool of control and subjugation. Her initial belief in the sanctity of the convent is gradually eroded as she witnesses the hypocrisy and cruelty of those who wield religious authority. The Mother Superior, portrayed with chilling restraint by Catherine Martel, becomes the embodiment of this duality. Her pious exterior masks a heart hardened by years of wielding power in the name of God, illustrating how religious institutions can corrupt even those who claim to serve a higher purpose. The film delves deeply into the psychological horror of repression, a theme that runs through every character's arc. The nuns' rigid adherence to their vows, poverty, chastity, and obedience, becomes a source of torment rather than liberation. The film's frequent close-ups of their anguished faces highlight the toll of denying one's humanity in pursuit of spiritual perfection. This repression manifests in disturbing ways, from the self-flagellation rituals performed in secret to the eerie nightly prayers that seem less like acts of devotion and more like incantations to ward off some unseen evil. The film's use of religious symbolism is not merely decorative, it is weaponized to evoke fear. Crucifixes, rosaries, and statues of the Virgin Mary are imbued with an unsettling quality, their presence often accompanied by an uncanny silence or a low hum of an organ. I love the visual metaphor of the confessional nightmare sequence. As she confesses, the Father is drifting further from her, signifying her slipping further from God, being pulled away from the salvation that she seeks. This takes place at the start of her third trimester. During this sequence, the Father poses the question to her that if this is not the will of God, then why does God not stop them? To this, I believe the answer is simple. Throughout historical and biblical teachings, God does not usually intervene. In this case, he is simply watching them dig their own pathway into hell. One of the film's boldest choices is its refusal to depict evil as an external force. There are no demons or malevolent spirits in the film. Instead, the horror is rooted in the characters' own actions and the institution that shapes them. This approach makes the film's message all the more unsettling. The true force of evil is not a horned beast or a spectral apparition, but the oppressive structures and ideologies that masquerade as moral authority. The film's climactic revelation that the convent's strict regimen is designed not to purify the soul, but to break the spirit, is a devastating indictment of the ways in which religion can be weaponized to maintain control. Mohan's direction is key to the film's success in creating a sense of unease. The use of long takes and slow zooms draws the audience's attention to minute details, forcing them to confront the unsettling aspects of the convent's environment. The sound design, a dissonant mix of carol hymns and distorted whispers, adds another layer of discomfort, making even moments of silence feel oppressive. The film's muted color palette, dominated by shades of gray and sepia, drains the world of vibrancy, reflecting the joyless existence of its characters. By the end, Cecilia is literally traversing the dark labyrinth of her own personal hell, pursued by a representative of the devil himself, and only is able to escape him when she finds a literal light at the end of the tunnel. Immaculate is more than a horror film. It's a critique on the darker aspects of religious institutions and the dangers of blind faith. By leaning away from supernatural elements in favor of a human-driven horror, the film holds up a mirror to real-world atrocities committed in the name of religion. It forces viewers to confront uncomfortable questions about the cost of devotion and the thin line between salvation and damnation. In doing so, Immaculate cements itself as a modern classic in the horror genre, a film that lingers in the mind long after the film ends. Much like the oppressive shadows of the convent, it so hauntingly depicts. Well, friends, that's gonna be all for now. If you're interested in this film, I urge you to check it out for yourself and formulate your own thoughts and opinions about it. I hope you come share those thoughts in the comments. Let me know if there are any movies that you would like to see discussed on this channel. I always love to hear from you guys, and I do my best to try and respond to everyone. As always, I have put a link down in the description to a physical copy of the film, if one exists, so that you can add it to your collection. Using that link helps out the channel, and that is always appreciated. Furthermore, if you like the video, I urge you to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you aren't already. I know many of you watching aren't yet subscribed, so help support the channel. Subscribe. If you'd like to go the extra mile and support the channel even more, we do have a Patreon. And if you sign up for our Rated R tier level, you can get yourself access to the ETF Digital Archive. We get a lot of compliments about the VHS collection that you guys see in the background of almost all of our videos. Well, we have been hard at work slowly digitizing that collection and creating a place where we can share it with all of you. Thanks to the help of the Plex platform, one of this channel's sponsors, we can now do just that. This is our way of doing our part to help preserve that gritty, nostalgic VHS look and feeling before it's gone forever. So as a special thank you for becoming a Rated R tier member, you will be added to our ETF Archive Plex server, so that you can stream our VHS collection from anywhere at any time. It's basically like having a streaming service for VHS, which I think is pretty cool. We also have a Mercari store, where you can go and get yourself a little piece of the ETF archive. While collecting VHS, Blu-rays, and DVDs over many years, we wind up with lots of duplicates, and we unfortunately can't store them all. So on our Mercari shop, we have those for sale. Purchasing those not only expands your collection, but makes room for us to expand ours. All the links for everything are down in the description. Until next time, stay safe, and as always, thanks for watching.